Hey, this is Phyllis. I'm going to show you how to assemble a bass drum. This particular one is a Tama Imperial Star and 18 by 22. The drum spurs we've got laid out. We've also got 16 screws and 16 small washers. We've also got 2 drum hoops, and we've also got the batter head and the resonant head. The first thing you want to do when you get your bass drum out of the box and the plastic, you want to run your finger around this bearing edge. You're not quite sure what the bearing edge is. It's the edge. It's got a little more slope into it. And just run your finger around and make sure there are no nicks and that it feels even. And also you might want to take your tape measure and measure across in each place. And make sure that these drums are completely round, because if they're not round, your heads are not going to fit correctly, and these heads are not going to want to tune very well either. You'll also, while I'm talking about that, you want to take your drum hoops and you want to lay them not on a carpet, but like on your linoleum floor or your countertop, one that is even or doesn't have a lot of slope, and make sure that these drum hoops are laying flat too, that they're not rocking on you, because that's another sign that that you've got a poor quality kit. Also, be sure and check out when you're getting started your hardware on the outside of the drum. Make sure nothing's loose, as well as on the inside. I usually just check it with my fingers. Right now, especially it being a brand new kit, they're usually tight, but you don't want anything that's rattling. If you're not quite sure where the front of the drum is, the spurs are going to be at the outermost front. So this part is where your resonant head is going to go, because your 2 drum spurs are here, and of course this is where your front head or resonant head is going to go. So I'm going to automatically start with the batter head. Turn the drum up as such. Like I said, I've checked out my bearing edges. They feel really smooth and really good. Check my head out too. I'll make sure there's no tears in it. Just checking the quality of the head. This particular one is an Evans 2-ply clear EMAD. You also want to check, there's a little Evans emblem. You want to make sure that that Evans emblem is centered with the top of the drum, where your tom holders are going to go. I usually put them on as such. Make sure that they're on really even. I'm going to take my, you want to make sure also that there's a little place in your batter drum hoop. It's a little ridge here where your pedal will go. So you want to make sure that that's going to be facing the floor and not towards your tom holders, because this is a little groove that your drum pedal is going to go in. So you lay your hoop up here nice and even. Try to match it up where the holes are going to be. I kind of slide it around like that. Make sure everything's kind of even for the time being. And you always want to grab one of these. Your washer goes on your screw as such. That's going to go first. Then I start putting the lugs on. I just start setting them down in here. This particular drum has 8 lugs, and once I make sure that I've got my screws in, I begin to run crisscross from like here to here, here to here. I don't do them side by side, but I start crisscrossing, tightening them up just finger tight, because you want to ensure that your drum head is going to seat evenly. Then I go back here and here, tightening up finger tight. I don't worry about trying to tighten them up all at one time. I just do it as really gradual. Sometimes I switch hands because I actually have more strength in my right hand than I do my left hand. So I've got them all finger tight, and now I just use like the CPR method for heart attack victims. I put my hands together, keep my palm up, and I'm mashing the center of the drum, just like I'm doing a chest compression. Do this maybe 4 or 5 times. That helps to seat the head too. Then I go back around, feel one more time, make sure these, because when you push down, sometimes these, you'll be able to tighten these screws up a little bit more. Then I take me a drumstick and I tap, and there's no resonant sound, it's really dead. So I began to take my drum key that came with the drum set, and you want to make sure when you start to turn these, you want to make an even amount of turns. You don't want to do a whole turn on one screw and half a turn on the other. Even if one feels a little bit looser than the other, make the same amount of adjustments. So I start out with maybe a quarter of a turn, because I want it the lowest possible tuning point. So that's why I'm doing it in quarter turns. So I take my stick at this point, and I just start tapping around. And they sound like, I tap around at each lug about 1 inch away, and they sound like they're resonating pretty good. C-mads also come with a little, an extra muffin ring that fits down. I can turn the drum around. There's a little plastic guide right here that this just slides right up under. I choose the thinner one came with it, but I choose the thicker one because it gives it more of that thump sound, and it kills a lot of the overtone, and it makes the drum really sound good. To put in a muffling pad, that usually really brings the tone down a whole lot. I already have a strip on the inside that helps secure that, and I put the wire part back here towards the batter side. I've got my little strip here, and I put it in as such and push it right up against that head, and that'll help with those overtones too, and also give it a once again that lower tone that we're looking for. That sounds pretty good. Okay, so we're going to flip the drum around and put on the resonant head or the front head. And a lot of people, they like to grab the drum back here by the hoop. I don't like to do that because I've just got the hoop tuned. And if you go to start pulling on it, you'll knock it out of tune. So what I usually do either kind of just take the spurs right here in my hand, kind of on my fingers, because the drum's not that heavy. Just kind of flip it like this. It's really low. You want to take your drum spurs and loosen them. Be really careful on the drum spurs. They have a few little metal pieces in here that actually are fitting into a groove. Like right here, it wouldn't be into the groove, but you can feel it when it actually goes down into the groove. So I'm going to put them about right here and tighten them up and make sure that the whole assembly is actually pushed together, because if it's not in that groove, it'll have an opening in it, and that's not correct, and it can cause your drum to move, and you don't want that to happen. So I take this one, bring it down the same. I think this would actually be about 3 clicks. Put it down about the same. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, because I'm going to put these spurs on. Now up in here like as such, you'll need a drum key, and I usually just tighten this up for just a hair. And once I've got my spurs on, I want to slide my hand up under here. You don't want the bass drum lifted up. A lot of people have their drums up like that. That puts a lot of pressure on the pedal and on the drum hoop, which can damage the drum. And also, it kind of kills the sound when you're putting that kind of pressure, because you're putting your hoop in a bind. So what I do, I make sure my spurs are even. I stick my hand up under here, and just enough to let it sit on my palm as such. That looks pretty even. So this is the bass drum assembly. I hope you've enjoyed. If you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot.